to Action
Here we
podcast.
go. The Call to Action podcast. Here we are. It's 6 o'clock, right on the button, and that's when we went live.
All right.
So welcome to the podcast. This is the Call to Action podcast. I am your host. I'm attorney Stephen Leahy. I am here with my co-host, Jim Leahy, and we're going to listen.
You like how I do that?
I do, because I didn't see it.
I'm adding the young flair to it.
It is.
I'm not young.
We need somebody young now.
I'm not young.
So let's start the show. So let me start the show.
Let's start it up, gang. Dude, my ascot. Shot of you like SNL where you're like sped up, you're at the desk. Like,
So that was that's in there. They can hear the sound, but we can't hear it because it gets in. It gets.
I figured that. You told me that last time. Again, as I said, I'm just going to record you some action shots instead of just having that picture. We'll edit it up, make it look real nice. You know, just like a little Saturday night with your host, attorney Stephen Leahy.
We should probably do something for the start like they do at the radio station, you know. And today this is the Trust Radio Network.
I don't like those beginnings. I hate them. I thought they should be.
That's what they call it. That's what they call a cold open.
I get it, but we're not cold anymore. We're not really an infomercial. You know?
I get it. I understand.
We should get rid of those. I hate those intros.
Well, I get that.
It cuts off 40 seconds.
So if you're against the intros, then you don't want to do one for this show.
No, I would do one for this show, but I would redo the video, right? Where we do some action shots and it's just me.
Well, I did that myself. You got to move over just a little bit, Jim, so we're in the middle. There you go, right in the middle. There
how am I going to talk into the microphone?
Well, move the microphone. It moves.
That works.
It's a mover.
That does work. How you doing today, Attorney Stephen Leahy?
I'm just great, Jim. I'm just great.
Yeah, what's been going on in the office recently?
Oh, it's been so busy. You wouldn't know. You wouldn't understand.
Well, it's coming to the end of tax season.
You know, that's what I say. The countdown, 4 days. Countdown's 4 days.
The countdown's begun.
So I wanted to let's see if I can. One of the things that people don't, and this is kind of where I'm getting a lot of calls. You know, the deadline's coming. What do I got to do? You know, I can't file. I still don't have my information. All of this. Yesterday we talked about the call I had about getting your tax refund for the last 3 years. That they expanded that. So
they have expanded that program.
Well, just the deadline, right? Because they changed all the deadlines from April 15th to May 17th. And that means all the deadlines. So if you had a deadline, generally there's a 3-year deadline to file your tax returns in order to get a refund. And if it goes beyond 3 years, you don't get the refund. Well, we talked about this yesterday on the show. So that also was extended, right? So that date was also extended to May 17th. So I had a person that called me, thought that they had lost their opportunity to get their refund. And I was fortunate enough to have to tell them, no, you didn't. You get the refund. Just get it in before May 17th.
Speaking of the microphone, you sound so crisp when you do that.
I've always taught you.
I know, but you're talking like this. And it's not
well, sometimes
this.
I do. Well, you know, when I'm at the radio station, I usually move the microphone with you.
I understand.
But I try not to do that here because it's not as sturdy as the microphone at the radio station. Which now talk about the radio station. We're going to be there tomorrow, so you can join us tomorrow on our live podcast from about 2 o'clock. We're going to come on. We got attorney Dave Schwanner is going to be on the show.
It's going to be a great show.
It's going to be a great show. We're going to have attorney Dave Schwanner. He's a personal injury attorney. Could talk about cases that he's handled and how he can help you. Right. So that's really what the Trust Radio Network's all about.
It's always important to have a personal injury attorney. You know?
Well, again, nobody likes to hire lawyers, right?
I love it.
Well,
I love getting on the phone and talking to attorneys. I think it's the greatest thing in the world.
I understand, Jim. That's it. You're so much different than everybody else. That's why.
Yeah, cut from a different piece of cloth, as they say.
So let me put my glasses on so I can see, and then I'm going to go to
talk about our subject matter.
Actually, I'm going to go down here to here we are at the irs.gov, and that's what the station. That's where I'm going to be at today. And this is actually a good website. They have a lot of great information here for you. So, so here's the form that everybody needs. Form 4868, right? That's the extension of time. I need more time. Help me. I need more time. But if you need more time, also always remember that when you ask for more time, you don't get more time to pay. You still have to pay. So make an estimate about what you owe and pay it. Otherwise, you'll pay a failure to file penalty. Failure to pay penalty. The failure to file penalty will be waived as long as you file before October 15th. That you won't have a failure to file penalty, but you will have a failure to pay penalty if you don't pay it by May 17th.
That's good to know.
Is that something that you learned, Jim? Here, being
that is
part of the
something
show?
that I've learned. I didn't think that. I thought with an extension, reason for me to file an extension is because I don't have the money. Kind of makes sense as to why I'm. Why the hell would I file the extension?
Because you don't have the paperwork in order to file your tax forms. So sometimes
there should be two forms. There should be a form to be like, "Can I pay you down the road?"
There is you could do that. This is called 433D. If you file your tax return on time and owe them, and it's less than $10,000, they'll do an automatic payment plan for you, and you can do an automatic payment plan. I wouldn't suggest you do that every year because here's the thing: you're already paying too much in taxes, in my opinion. No matter what you're paying. And except for people who do like the earned income tax credit. They don't pay any taxes, but they get a big check refund. I don't think you can call it a refund. Okay, if you didn't put anything in, I don't think it is a refund. But anyway, I digress. But most people overpay. So if you're going to pay the IRS over time, you're going to pay them interest and you're going to pay them penalties. So now you're going to pay more in taxes than you were before. So that doesn't make any sense. But if you can't pay, I get this today. I had a guy hasn't filed since 2011, right? Here's my advice to everybody. Now, he said a lot of this time I didn't have to file. I didn't make any money. I shouldn't have had to file. But here, even if you don't make any money, you should always file your tax return. For one thing, the stimulus was all based on your tax returns. If you hadn't filed the tax return, even if you weren't supposed to, you didn't get the stimulus check. Right, so you had to go back and do your tax returns and get the stimulus. The other thing is about deadlines. There's lots of deadlines, statute of limitations, which what they call the CSED collection statute expiration date. 10 years from the date of assessment. That's how long they can collect from you. But there's also this deadline for audits, and the audit is 3 years. So 3 years after the date of the assessment. If they haven't audited you, they won't unless there's some fraud or something involved. And that's almost never the case. Because sometimes there is. There's always exceptions, right? It depends. That's always the answer, usually the answer. But anyway, so if you file your tax return on time, then you'll start that timer ticking, and you won't have to worry about it after a time. Now, you say, well, I didn't have to file, so I shouldn't have to worry about it anyway. Well, maybe something else happened and they can audit you and find that out and still put you through some trouble. So that's what I would suggest.
Do you think that the number is going to go down for compliancy, for being compliant with your paying your taxes this year? It's like, 85% of people pay their taxes?
This is something that we could talk about. This is called the tax gap. Okay, and this 85% of all Americans pay on time and file on time, right? And that's historically. They said they've estimated it. This might be a good story for us to talk about because I think this is, if you start watching the news, and you'll see this a lot now, that gap is growing, they say. And so this is their rationale for coming after people harder, right? Well, there's lots of fraud out there. So they've always estimated around 800 million. But now they're saying, oh, no, it's like a trillion and a half. It's like double what we've always said it was. And again, they're using that as a reason why they're going to start coming after people. We've already reported that the number of audits for small businesses going up at least 50%. They're going to do at least.
That's a hell of a lot of. I mean, that's almost 100%.
Well,
it's a lot.
It's a lot. It is a lot, and that's so. But that's what's happening, right? They're going to start. Coming after people. There was a big story about it today. But the tax gap again is the difference between what they think that they're supposed to get and what they actually get. That's the gap. And again, it's been traditionally about 15%, about 700 million to 800 million, which is a lot of money. Not anymore. Not in this world of trillions.
Come on. That's.
But again, we've seen what's happening now with inflation. Oh, there goes my.
Inflation is out of control.
Yeah, inflation is out of control, and that's always.
You got to let me know when you switch over to me. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I got this monitor behind me. I can't see.
We should put a monitor over here for you.
We should.
I'm going to do that because I just need a HDMI hub to share more than one picture.
You could do the hub.
Yes, the hub.
You know what else is your hub? ChicagoTaxTeam.com. It's going to be your hub. They'll fight the IRS.
That's right. I wonder why that does that. The camera sometimes will just
because we're going to get a new camera. And it's going to be a 4K camera, and it's going to look great.
I don't think the 4K is necessary myself.
It's necessary.
No, I don't.
Have you seen podcasts where they have the 4K camera? It looks great.
Who has one? Give me an idea.
Pat McAfee.
I don't know who that is.
Steven Crowder.
I know who he is.
Tim Pool.
Does he have a 4K?
Yes, they all have the 4K cameras going for the Timcast IRL.
Whatever. I don't.
I mean, you want me to continue to keep going?
No, I'm sure they all have because they all make a ton of money, right? So it's easy to get
$200 on Amazon.
Well, actually, a nice 4K camera is more than $100
for a live streaming camera. I looked it up; it's $250. I mean, $250 is a lot of money, but
no, it isn't.
I think it's an
and I guarantee you this: they're not using a $250 camera. I guarantee it. Guarantee it.
The Crowder show, probably not.
Tim Pool, probably not.
Probably Tim.
No, he's not.
Probably Tim. I'm telling you right now, you'd be surprised.
I don't think he's using that kind.
I'm going to do some.
I think his camera's probably in the $4,000 or $5,000.
This isn't like a This is like a camera that you're supposed to like.
Well, this is a Canon T3i.
I know, but this is like something that you take out for you're on a hike or something. You want to get landscape.
Well, that's what it was built. That's what it was for. Because at the time when I bought this camera,
why it turned
streaming
off.
Wasn't. Well, I told you that I put the magic lantern on there, and that was supposed to stop that. So I have to look to see how to stop that. Actually,
I shook the magic 8-ball and said we need a new camera.
Not today, I think it said.
Yeah. Ask again later.
That was the answer.
Am I going to do well at the golf course today? No.
Probably not.
It says no off the bat. No, you won't. Oh.
I like this picture that I have behind me now. This is this looks like Columbus Avenue and Congress.
So listen, let's get back on track. We have the IRS deadline coming up here on the 17th. Everybody's got to file. If you're looking to file an extension, call Open Tax Advocates at 312-664-6649 and visit ChicagoTaxTeam.com. Also, too, we were talking this week about the restaurant revitalization program, and also, too, with businesses that have guests. Like I don't know the legal term. This is why I'm pointing to you. Please.
I'm not listening. So tell me what you said.
Good.
It's my show. I should listen.
Yeah, I don't.
What did you say?
I'm kind of softballing this for you. And you're swinging a miss. Strike one.
Has your third stimulus arrived, Jim? Did you get your third? Yeah, how to track your payment status with the IRS.
Oh, I got all the stimulus.
Get updates on your third stimulus payment with the IRS tracker tool.
It reminds me of the Simpsons episode, the Treehouse of Horror, where he gives, beginning of the episode, Grandpa gives Bart all this money. He goes, Grandpa, where'd you get all this money? He goes, the government. I didn't earn it. I don't need it. But if they miss one payment, I'm going to raise hell.
I understand that. That makes perfect sense to me. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to...
How about this? Let me talk a little more. Again, we were talking about the Restaurant Revitalization Act, about how if you own a business, if you have a restaurant, you need to take advantage of this program. Also, too, we
do you remember how much money is involved in it?
No, I have no idea, but we harped back
$28.6 billion.
We harped back to our guest last week from Dick Barr. On the Trust Radio Network.
Oh, yeah.
He was talking about there were landlord assistance programs. Before it was rental assistance for Lake County. Mm-hmm. People weren't calling and not going to make it up.
Not enough people.
So if you're a landlord and you don't have you're behind big time.
I know he sent
with
us
a lot of your tenants.
I know he
posted it on our Facebook page, the Trust Radio Network. So go over there and take a look through it. There you have a link. If you live in Lake County and you're a renter and you're a landlord, then you can fill this out and it's sent to you. You're going
as
to get
the landlord.
You're going to get the landlord assistance program because they changed it from renter assistance to landlord assistance because nobody. If you're not going to kick me out, I'm not going to go out of my way to get that money. You would think that you would, but people aren't going to do that. So the money's allotted for you, the landlord. That's what we talked about a lot at the beginning of the week. I know Attorney Stephen Leahy took over last week and kind of recapped. But there's some work going on in this building, and that terrified me. I almost dove.
So we talked about that. There's always a lot of different payments out there. There's a lot of different programs, right? So almost every county is going to have one. But here's one I wanted to show. I'll share with you here. It's the 2021 Illinois Rental Payment Program, right? The Illinois Rental Program is not currently accepting applications. It will open May 17th. So that's just coming up. That's Monday, right? And so let's talk about this. The grant. Applicants are eligible for up to 15 months of assistance. The grant can cover the past due rent from the previous 12 months and future rental assistance for the next 3 months. So this is amazing, right? So you're having problems. It's not coming back yet. The corona is still affecting so many people. But here it is. We have the county program. That's for 12 months. Here's a state program for 15 months. A maximum grant is $25,000. So if it's a year, $2,000 would be $24,000. If your rent is $2,000 a month, right? So somewhere less than $2,000 a month, and they would pay 15 months of. But it doesn't matter.
That's incredible.
Even if your rent is more than that, $25,000 check goes a long way, right?
You kidding me? Are you kidding me? That's unbelievable. So these programs are out there for you, ladies and gentlemen. You got to take advantage of them.
So let's talk a little bit about the eligibility requirements for it. Now, this is something I just looked up, okay? Because we were talking about, I was looking for the Lake County program, and I found this Illinois program. Again, this one hasn't even started yet. So if you're behind in your rent, and on Monday, you could apply for this. Who's eligible? So let's talk about eligibility. Households that are behind on their rent for at least 30 days. Household lives in Illinois and rents their home as their primary residence. Household's total gross income cannot exceed 80% of the area median income for location. So you can't make a lot. You can't be on the higher end of income. Household must have experience of financial hardship, directly or indirectly, due to the pandemic. For example, if you've been laid off, if your place of employment has closed, reduction in hours of work, loss of spousal or child support, inability to find work, having to stay home with children due to closure of daycare, schools, unable to participate in previous employment due to workplace high risk of severe illness from COVID-19, at risk or homelessness or housing instability. So this is important. I mean, this is amazing that these programs are out there, and they are casting such a wide net. Let me tell you something. If you tell them, they say you need a hardship. If your hardship is, hey, COVID affected me, guess what? You've reached the threshold. you're going to make it. So again, this doesn't start till May 17th. So that's next Monday. So if you're behind in your rent, or if you know someone who is, or you're a landlord, right, and your tenants are behind in their rent, get this program. Tell them about it. The one in the program in Lake County, the landlord can go apply for it. I think this one it has to be the tenant that applies. Well, but if you're the landlord, you can certainly tell your tenants, hey, this is out there. Let's go get it.
We'll read a little bit more about it and talk also on the IRS Radio Hour about this program.
Yes, it's important. Again, I think all of these programs are out there for people, and they should be aware of them. Okay, and again, I like to think I have my finger on the pulse of these things, but again, I hadn't heard of that program until I just looked it up. So there's programs are out there. There's people you can talk to get to understand about where to get this money. Again, you can Google it. Most all of us have. If you're watching, you have internet because we're on the internet, right? So you should be able to find these things. Again, almost every county is going to have it. That's an Illinois program. The county's going to have it. The municipality, sometimes the cities. I know the city of Chicago has a program like this. Probably Waukegan has a program. And why is that? The government gave them so much money. It's kind of like the tenants. They have so much money, they're trying to give it away and nobody's asking for it. So they're begging people, take it. Right? That's why, I don't know if you've heard this in Ohio, that they're having now a lottery. If you get a vaccine, they're going to give away 5 prizes of $1 million. Did you hear that?
Christ.
Yeah.
Did you see too the governor of New York saying, "Look, this is a Shake Shack. This is a good burger. You're going to get a free set of fries if you get your vaccine." Now they're saying if you get your vaccine, you don't need to wear a mask now. All people who are vaccinated.
How will they know if I'm the guy that doesn't have a mask?
Ask for your vaccine passport.
Well, I'm not going to show them to them. And this is it. Isn't my health records, aren't they protected by law? The answer is yes. Okay, so you can't go around and get people's health records. If they ask me, do you have your vaccine card? I'd say, do you have your syphilis card? Do you have syphilis?
Yes.
Oh, I can't. How dare you ask me that? Well, you're asking me about my health. Yeah. Why would I have to ask about yours?
I'm allergic to penicillin. I just wanted to say that. No, but for real though, I mean, you don't know what's in that stuff, the vaccine. Should I go to my doctor, ask my doctor? Again, my thing is, you should.
I'm not an anti-vaxxer.
I'm not either.
I'm not telling people.
Your doctor says.
I'm not telling people not to get the vaccine. Go get the vaccine.
I'm not either. I'm saying, what does your doctor say?
I have been slowly doing it because I still have the antibodies. At least last time I checked. I'm going to go check again because I had COVID. Right. And they say it may be more dangerous for those who've had COVID to get the vaccine. So I'm kind of waiting back. I'm letting other people get it in. I think I know that they're reaching an end where people aren't standing in line to get the vaccine anymore. It was out there, those who wanted it. I think almost everybody who is really jonesing for it has gotten it. I would think. I don't know.
The people who aren't.
At least the first shot. But now they're telling you, well, you need more than one shot. We know you need 2. No. You might need 3. You might need 5. We don't know yet. You might have to keep every year. This might be an ongoing thing. You might need a booster shot every year for the rest of your life. So they're going to take the patent protection away from Pfizer and these guys who are hoping to make money for a long time on this stuff. And again, they're the ones that I was going to say they put they did the work to find it, but actually the government paid them up front to do the research to find this.
Yeah, that was under Donald Trump.
Warp Speed Project or whatever they call it. Warp Speed. And it did work. I know Joe Biden will say, nobody had been vaccinated until I became president. He did say that. Joe, you were vaccinated before you became president. How can that be? I don't understand that, but that's true. Anything else you want to talk about, Jim? I thought that was important.
I'll tell you what, it's getting wild over in Israel or in the Gaza Strip. I pray for peace, and that's what I'm saying right now is I pray for peace. Definitely stand with the Judeo-Christian state, but
well,
it's a
here's the
sticky
thing.
situation.
Here's the thing. No, they're not. Gaza Strip. Well, they might be now, but they weren't at first. I don't know if you saw this, but like I saw a very high percentage of all the rockets that the Palestinians are shooting fail. And if they fail, where do they go? On other Palestinians. And then they say, well, look, Israel is bombing us. No, that's your own people bombing
I don't know
you.
if that's true, man.
It is true.
Where's your source? You have the computer. Let's pull up the source, sure or not. At the end of the day, what I have to say is that, humanity is humanity, right? We commit atrocities. Every state commits atrocities. Every people commits atrocities every day. But don't forget that the Palestinian people, if it was the other way around and they took power, it would be mass genocide in the streets of the Jewish people in Israel. Like they've called for that, and I'm talking of Hamas. That's what I'm speaking about. Hamas. It's those militant groups. So don't think for a second that they're not going to be prepared and doing and causing atrocities. I've talked about it with people today where it's like I'm for peace. I'm for peace. I stand with the free Palestine. First off, there's no Palestine. So it can't be free Palestine. What is this? Free Tibet? What are we giving out? Free? Is everything like free?
Well, you're talking about political. They're talking about a little bit too political stuff that I didn't want to get into on this.
What do you? You want me to talk about the IRS? I'm not your guy.
Well, we could talk about the IRS and this. Let's talk about this.
What? What are we talking about? Pull it up. You got to be quick with it. Okay, talk about
the crypto exchange. Okay. I heard that.
You did say yesterday, though, when I wasn't here because I did listen to the podcast. Jim's usually here. We have witty banter. And we could talk about it.
I'm just. But this is something different, though. It's too dependent on Elon Musk. Right, Elon Musk says something.
Bitcoin that's related.
Well, when he says he's going to take the Bitcoin, it goes through the roof. Right, the Bitcoin today. He said, "Well, we're not going to take Bitcoin," and so
do you know why he did that?
Because he was short on it and it went down.
He's shorting them because they shorted Dogecoin when he made his appearance on SNL. They're like, listen, it's been fun. Take your money out of Dogecoin, put it in Bitcoin, let's roll. He goes, well, between the two coins. Also, too, Ethereum dropped. I mean, we have
Ethereum and Bitcoin both dropped 10% between 9 and 10%.
I'm very aware of that
today.
Yes,
so again, do you buy? I'm not going to get into market, and I'm not into the trading and making money on it. But I have bought some only to figure out, so I know how it works, so I can advise others about their taxes and how this all works.
Well, we have an economy right now that's based off of Reddit speculation and tweets. I mean, for God's sakes, that's the Elon Musk thing. You tweet, boom, all of a sudden they hit. The guy from Bitcoin, one of the Bitcoin founders, says, "Hey, this is cute. Guess what? It's over." And then all of a sudden, Dogecoin just goes through the floor. It's like we have too much. People get too worked up. That's the whole thing with GameStop. Got worked up on all this Reddit stuff. I was a part of it. I jumped in.
Well, this is more gambling than investment. That's a gamble.
That's what everybody's saying with the market.
And that's the same thing with it's always the crypto. But Jim, it's always been that way. I think I was telling you about at the beginning in 1999. Everybody had.
Yeah, but before 1999, before we saw the tech boom, there wasn't really. Maybe
there was.
Correct me if I'm wrong. If a stock jumped up with that much volatility and that much.
But here's and then you and I talked about this before. But here's the difference, right? Now you can do it for free almost.
Yeah.
Back in the 80s and the 90s, it cost you money to have a brokerage account, to make a trade. You paid per trade, right? And so it cost you money. And so if it went up, if it had to go up a lot before you made any money on the stock, because you had to pay, there was fees, right?
But the brokerage fee per like transaction wasn't.
There were
horrendous.
transaction fees. I'm sorry.
It wasn't horrendous though.
Well, it depends when it was. In the 70s, it was a lot more than it was in the 80s, that it was in the 90s. Now it's gone, right? A lot of these, there is no transaction fees. Yeah. So you buy and sell
how do they make money on the stock, on this exchange floor? It just doesn't make sense in Wall Street. Like, used to be before, right? Because again, those are all traders that are getting calls like,
I think so. We when this thing came up about who do you use again? Robinhood. About how they make money, right? Because they're selling information, kind of like Facebook does. On the floor. No, someone's on the floor buying and selling.
But that doesn't make sense.
Actually, it's all electronic now. So.
That's what I'm saying. Everything's all electronic. What's the point of having anybody on the floor?
Yeah, I get that. But, like Robinhood, right? They're selling your information like Facebook does. So that you think that's free, but it's not free. Yeah. And now, is that where we're going to go? Should we go to where people own their own information and should be able to capitalize on it themselves and don't let these companies make money on on their own information? And of course, they're tracking you like crazy. I'm going to tell you something. January 6th showed us this, how much they can track somebody, and they track people. They could track people down.
Well, we knew that even before.
Yeah, but I mean, it's been so. I knew that. Any
school shooter, anybody that did a mass shooting, anybody that committed an atrocity,
except for the guy in Nevada, the Las Vegas. Well, I'm saying that's a fact.
Come after you.
Why would they come after me for that?
Because you're saying the truth now.
It's just an observation.
I understand. That's conspiracy.
It's just an observation.
That's craziness. I've had
the guy who blew up that stuff on Christmas. What happened there?
Don't look over here. It's fine. It's over. I mean, he blew up a city block.
I know. Anyway, let's move on. Everything. He was crazy. Let's move on.
Moving on. It's like
he was a goof.
What?
Move on.
It's like the largest mass shooting in history. It's like, he wasn't politically motivated. We don't know anything about him. It's like, what?
He was not politically motivated. That's right. Well, I thought you didn't know anything about him. Well, we don't, but we don't think he was politically.
Yeah, he brought up all those guns so he could just shoot them all once.
He loved guns, Jim. He just loved to be around guns. So that was all him. Yeah. That's it. Again, you got me talking about that. That's our conspiracy theory. Right? We always talk about the conspiracy
theories. We have fun with that. But it is odd. Like, I mean, we could talk about it. We don't have to. This is call to action. We're trying to have
call to action. And again, that's what this is. People, human agency, making a change in your life by taking action. And that's why, again, there's these funds out there. That's why I wanted to bring up that rental fund, right, in Illinois. Starts May 17th. We'll talk about that on our show tomorrow. We're going to talk about the Lake County one. I'm going to get that address down. We're going to talk about the restaurant revitalization plan. Yes. We're going to talk about the shuttered venue grant.
What is the question for tomorrow? Because there's got to be a question that's come through your office where,
Well, I'm going to talk about the SFRs because that's what I had. Remember
the substitute for returns.
And the reason why, again, and I've talked about it many times, but again, when I get calls, and I've had 3 calls today, 2 of them were about that I had a consultation with. 2 of them involved these SFRs. Okay, and what they
one of them asked,
and another one was about
if you need an extended car warranty.
No, I get a lot of those calls. I said consultations.
Oh.
And everybody needs an extended car warranty. No, you don't.
What does it cover?
Nothing. You just keep paying, but you'll feel better until you need it.
But I have a warranty. No, you don't have.
You don't have a warranty. Well, we do have a warranty. Is this covered? No, that's not covered. No. Is this covered? No, that's not covered.
What do those people do? Do they get like really excited? It's like, yeah, I want one. Oh, I haven't gotten this far.
No, that can't be true. I actually know a guy who sells them, and he does fairly well for himself. And
really,
yes, And
should we get him on the show and talk to him, like, what's going on here?
We could. He'd be. I'm sure he'd be up for
on the
be on the
trust
show.
Radio. I don't know trust. I would say on a
until
podcast.
I understand it better. I would think the trust.
Yeah, I wouldn't trust a telemarketer.
Well, he's not a telemarketer. He sets it up with more car dealerships. So he's not.
So he's not the people that are calling. He would probably know the scam though. There's scams.
He would know the scam, and I think he deals with that too. I think he also deals with the he gets your number from the.
He's not on the Trust Radio Network. I'm making.
I don't think he is the.
He's not.
I don't think he's the guy. He's not calling.
I would like to figure out what's going on there though. Like, why? It's a numbers game.
Well, I think remember we had Keith Schindler on the show. I help people get out of debt. He collects, but also I also help small business people, and they need to collect debts from their clients.
That was a good
customers.
conversation.
It was actually a really good conversation, and Keith said,
we should probably have him back on again and talk a little bit more
let's talk about that. How about the guy from Vienna? Are we going to get him back? I wanted to get him on and talk about the restaurant revitalization. Yes.
What does he know about he's the marketing director. I don't think he would know anything about that.
He knows all about that stuff. He knows. Remember what he deals with these small businesses because they're all restaurants. As he told us, there's more Vienna beef hot dog stands in Chicago than Burger King, McDonald's, and Wendy's combined. Okay, so he knows these small business, and he probably knows. And as we're finding out, these small business people are the ones that don't know about these programs. I guarantee McDonald's knows about the program, and they've got their people in line, right? Burger King, they know about it. They got their people in line, and they're in line to get the money. So it's the small business people, the people who run their own little shop, they're the ones that don't know about this. They're the ones that need it the most, and they're the ones that are left out on the cold. And so they're the ones that we are trying to reach. To tell them about these programs. So I always look at it, and again, I don't really make any money on this, but I always look at it as my job is to inform people about what's out there and give them these opportunities. Again, this is the call to action, human action to make the change your life. So these things are out there, and again, it goes with the rental thing. So if I've been behind my rent for 6 months or a year, and there's a program out there that would pay it. Don't you think you should know about it? Don't you think you should try to get it? At least to try to straighten this out. At least think about your.
How about this?
Think about your poor landlord. Okay, and you say, "Well, I don't care about." Yeah, you do.
Stupid landlord.
You care about your landlord because he's the one that provided the house that you're living in or the apartment you're living in. Somebody owns that, and they have every right to be paid. Otherwise, you wouldn't have signed the lease with them, right?
Why don't you talk about the 6 things you could do if you owe the IRS money? Because, again, I think this is really relevant in this time frame, especially people who are going to be doing the extensions. And if they're uninformed like me or like I was, how many times you get it where people go, "Oh, I filed an extension. I don't have to pay until later." It's like, no. You don't. You have to pay now, and then they get stuck in the cascading debt issue because it's like, oh my god, I don't.
Because they don't know how to get out of it. And it's a recurring. Once you get in, it's really hard to get out of that cycle. And I don't know if now's the time to talk about the 6 things you can do. I could tell you the 6th thing you can do is nothing. That's not a good choice. Doing nothing is not a good choice. That's not what this show. This is call to action. Take some action. Do something about it. What people are generally surprised about with their IRS problem is that there is an answer. Okay, so everybody thinks there isn't an answer, and that's why they ignore it. But there is an answer. Even for everybody, there's an answer. Sometimes you don't like the answer. That's true. But especially if you're having, usually. It's good to take advantage of a bad situation. So if your income's down, now is the time to work on it. Now is the time to fix it. Because one of the things that happened with the IRS, and we talked a little bit about it earlier about the statute of limitations and how and that the IRS has 10 years to come after you. Well, if I'm working with the IRS and I'm having some years that are bad, and I'm not even paying them because they are one of the things, that 4th thing you can do if you have the IRS, if you owe the IRS money, is what they call a currently not collectible status. And what that is when you agree, the IRS agrees not to come after you while you're because your income's down, and I can prove that your income is needed to pay all your expenses. Well, if that's the case, they won't come after you, and maybe that's a year or 2 years or 3 years, and as that 2 or 3 years is going, right. The clock is ticking on the statute of limitations. And so now maybe it's already 2 years or 3 years old. And then you get another 2 years. Now it's only 5 years left. And maybe then you start making money. But maybe now you can only pay the IRS $100 a month. So then it goes to $100 a month, and then you pay $100 a month for 5 years. Well, that's $6,000. So now if I owed him $100,000 and I only paid him $6,000, well, that's a deal, isn't it? So everybody freaks out about the penalties and interest, but oftentimes you're not going to pay the penalties and interest anyway because you can't, because the money it costs too much.
This is what this podcast is about: is to try to inform people every weekday from Monday through Thursday about what you need to do if you have IRS debt. Yeah, there's sometimes you go off on tangents, I understand, but the base matter of what we're trying to do is to say, hey, wake up, take action, and let's solve your IRS problems right now. Because if we don't do it today, it's going to be another problem tomorrow, and then the next day, and the next day. This is going to keep becoming a problem. And then, you know what sucks? What sucks? Foreclosure. You know what sucks? Having your wages levied. You know what sucks? Is looking at your friends and going,
being evicted. I don't have. How about being evicted?
Being evicted, or then you look at your friends, go, I'm really broke. I don't have any money. My wages are garnished.
I can't drink with you tonight.
The joke we're talking about, but it's making it lighthearted.
I know.
But again, there's nothing worse than that. And then you have that sense of embarrassment because you see it all the time too. People don't want to talk about it's like bed bugs. You don't want to talk about bed bugs. It's like it's almost having the bubonic plague.
And again, a lot of times it's not your fault, right? I mean, if something happened in your life that caused you to be unemployed, oftentimes it's not even your fault, right?
I mean, some of the greatest people David Goggins, for example. If you don't know who David Goggins is.
I do not. I heard of it.
He is a Navy SEAL. He's one of 7 African Americans that have been, maybe 10 African Americans that have been Navy SEALs.
Really?
There hasn't been a large number of African Americans who are Navy SEALs. From his book, I don't know if that's true or not.
Actually,
that's what he said in his book.
Yeah. Is that the guy that was running?
Before he joined the Navy, and he was scared of water, didn't want to do anything, and he ended up leaving.
If you're afraid of the water, you probably shouldn't join.
Well, he's sitting there and he was killing bugs and stuff, making crap money, $10, $12 an hour, and he's sitting there and he had a milkshake in his hand. He tells the story. He goes sitting there, he just watching TV, had a milkshake, and he felt like crap. He was 300 pounds. He goes, you know what? I want to be a Navy SEAL. That's what I want to do. I'm going to do it. And he ran. Well, he couldn't run. He could only run like a quarter of a mile before he was done. So he ran a quarter, and he came back. He was crying. But he goes, I did it every day. I did a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. They're back. Quarter mile one way, quarter mile another way. That's a half a mile. That's
fractions.
Yes, that's not true. only a quarter true. But anyway, the point of the matter is he took advantage. He ended up becoming a Navy SEAL. Now he runs these ultra marathons, 200-mile marathons. And this guy, at one point, if you see pictures, he's 300 pounds and he's drinking milkshakes every day. Right? He took it. There was a call to action, and he took it. And he became the baddest MF in the world. Right? He's one of the baddest people around. You could do that too. You could take advantage of your life. You don't have to live in this festering cesspool of
mediocrity.
Take advantage of your life. Take advantage of the opportunity you have right now. Open Tax Advocates can show you the way to full financial recovery at 312-664-6644.
I'm going to go on with that because I think because here's people that I help. People that I help are small business people. People that are running their own business, right? And to me, if you started your own business, you've already shown that you've got more guts than 90% of the people out there, because it's not easy to start your own business. Now, when you get hit hard and things start taking and your income goes down or your business starts failing, people get depressed. Okay, but you've already proved that you've got something, some drive in you. All you need to do is to find it again. It's there. Don't let this financial problem bring you down so to the fact where you just give up. And that's what I'm fighting against. Okay, we want this. What this whole show is about, not only to help people with the IRS problems, because then that's a big problem, and I get that, and that's bankruptcy and all this financial stuff, but rebuilding. Right? How do I rebuild? How do I get? How do I set up an office? How do I market to people? How do I get more business? All of that, and that's all people that we could talk together.
Do you help people with their marketing plans as well?
I don't yet, but I mean, there's something that we can talk about. I'm going to one of the things I'm going to start doing a weekly call about 2:00 on Wednesdays, and it's more yes, Jim.
Continue.
And it's more of a talk with small business people, that we can all kind of look at our scorecards and try to share ideas and things like that. That's a
great idea. You know what? Can I cut in right there?
Yes.
Can I also guarantee, and it's an open tax guarantee, if you have a small business and you want to take advantage of this marketing opportunity, right? You come to Open Tax Advocates and you have an issue, we'll get you on the Trust Radio Network. You get a free spot on the radio. Also, too, you have video marketing for your business. So you got a free card right there to get on the radio in front of one of the largest markets in Chicago. I mean, we're talking Chicago.
Well, in the world,
market.
Yeah, it's a big market.
One of the largest markets in the world for radio. We have
everybody knows WIND. WIND's been around since the beginning of radio.
But the point of the matter is that if you have a small business, you're hearing this message right now, and you go, you know what, I'm going to take control of my life. And then he sits there and goes, I do need help marketing. All you got to do is ask help. We're here to help. That's what we're doing. That's why we're doing what we're doing. That's why we have the Trust Radio Network. We want to feature small business that you can trust when you make important decisions, but also, too, as we said last year, we had a bunch of restaurants and a bunch of small businesses that were having a tough time. Because they needed it. They needed the little spot. They need a little bump. We're here for you. Take advantage. We got it for you now. So I just wanted to say that's an open tax guarantee. Unless if you run some really shady business, then you can't be on the show. But if
you're trying to sell,
if you're doing if you're doing extended car warranties, you cannot be on the show.
I don't know if that's true or not. I said it. I know a guy.
If you're on a telemarketing business, you can't be. But listen, there's an open. Seriously though, if you have,
I bet you there's good people that do that too. There's bad people. Yeah. They give every.
There were.
I don't know if you know this, Jim, but there's a lot of people who think attorneys are bad.
Yeah. There were good executioners. Sorry, you have to take your loan.
Oh,
I don't want to hurt you.
I just watched that.
It'll be really quick.
I just watched that from World War II. The guy, the executioner for World War II, and he was in World War II. The Germans had a guy who would go around and he had a guillotine, and he would go around. I forget his guy's name. I look it up here, but he would go around and he would kill people. That was his job, mostly political opponents. Right? And after the war, the Allies got him to kill the Germans. And he turned around and started killing the Germans. So it was kind of a psychological thing on the Germans because they were using this guy to kill all their political opponents. And then the Allies used him to kill them, to hang them all after the trial, after the yeah, isn't that terrifying? I did not know that. I don't remember the gentleman's name, but he lived until 1972 in the United States. I think he lived in the United States until 1972. They say he executed over 3,000 people.
Oh my Lord!
Yeah, he had the guillotine. He brought back the guillotine. But he reinvented it and made it better. I don't know if it's better.
Anyway, the point of the matter is that
you just reminded me.
If you have a small business, take advantage. This is what Open Tax says. Help small businesses with their tax issue. Because again, you talk about it all the time, Attorney Stephen Leahy, where you go, you're very you're not good at the paperwork. That happens to everybody. That happens to every Attorney Stephen Leahy does the podcast. As you can see, it's good. We're not at a professional level yet, though. Think of that as like what you do. You make these great pies, but the paperwork's tough.
Johann Reichart. was his name.
Attorney Steve Leahy has a tough time paying attention.
No, I'm paying attention to this. But Reichart was his name.
My name was going to be Johan, actually, when I was born.
It's a J. It was in the running. But your dad's name was Jim, so you became Jim.
Yeah. My grandfather's name was Jim.
So he became Jim.
The third? Somebody's like, you're the third. I'm like, no, I'm not the third. Oh, your son said that. It's like, no, my middle name's Robert.
It doesn't mean you're a junior and you don't have to have the same middle name to be the third.
Yes, you do.
No, that's junior.
Do. No, you have to have
I had this fight with Jake about it, but I'll look into that too. That's something that we could.
So then I'd be Jim Leahy the third?
How
have I not been going around with that?
I understand it. That's why you know what I would call you? Trey. Trey.
That's cool.
But that was Reichart. Yeah, isn't that something that's what you didn't think?
I like that. I just want to touch base again. I like that open tax guarantee. If you we're saying it right now. If you hear this podcast, you hear this message. If you have a small business, you come in and you get help from Attorney Stephen Leahy. We're going to put you on the Trust Radio Network, and you're going to have video clips that you're going to be using for your marketing purposes. You're also going to have access to the Spotify where we send all of our shows over. So it's like a digital. I love the Spotify, and I tell this to people all the time. It's like a digital business card. I've done this before where I've sat with people and they go, well, I used to sell real estate. And it was like, well, what's the market like? It was like, well, here you go. And I asked if you got Spotify. Oh, I do. Here you go. I sent an episode that I did. I talk about the Spotify, or I talk about it on this show right here. They got to listen. And they go, it's really cool. That's the coolest thing in the world. That's what we do.
I wanted to show, because since you're speaking about since you're talking about Spotify, I want to push my niece's show.
Oh,
her show is Adventure Certified.
Adventures. Have you listened to an episode?
I'm trying. I'm not Spotify, so I've been trying to get into Spotify to listen to them. But she just
download the app.
She just said, "I get that, Jim. I understand that." But I haven't had a chance. She just sent this to me on Sunday, and so it's Adventure Certified, and her name is Ashley Alm. And go try out her. I know she interviewed your sister, so I want to hear that one for sure. I always tell my nieces and nephews, if you had a show, I'd listen, because they never listen to my show except for Jim, because he's on it. Yeah. Well, I was like, did you listen to my show? I don't listen to your show. If you had a show, I'd listen.
I still listen to your show when Dad was on it.
No, you did.
Yeah, I did, because I always asked Dad. I was like, hey, let me come on the show. And he's like, no, you can't.
He never told me that you asked to be on the show.
Yeah, I asked to be on the show. That would have been a good episode.
Yes, it would have been. Then your first time on the show was the week after he passed.
Oh, yeah.
On the same, that was a Sunday. He passed on a Sunday. Next Sunday you were on.
Solomon Grundy, born on a Sunday, christened on a Monday.
I don't know that song.
You never?
No.
It's a rhyme.
I don't know that one.
Or it's I don't know.
Limerick?
A limerick? Yeah, it's like a Mother Goose Tale thing. I don't know. Anyway, the point of the matter is, ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for paying attention to Call to Action. You got anything else, Attorney Stephen?
No, I don't. Tomorrow, again, let's just push tomorrow, because tomorrow's going to be the 2 o'clock. We're going to be on
with Dave Schwanner,
the Watch Talk Radio podcast, and it's going to be streaming on Facebook, so you can find us there. But you can also find us at watchtalkradio.com. Dave Schwanner is going to be our guest. We're going to do the IRS Radio Hour also. So we do 2 shows inside of a show, which is the Watch Talk Radio podcast. So join us tomorrow, 2 o'clock. Wherever you're watching us now, we're going to be there tomorrow. So don't forget that. Okay. I'm going to
play the ending, and then we're up and out. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, Open Tax is there for you. 312-664-6649 to visit ChicagoTaxTeam.com. It's going to be your hub to fight the IRS. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next week for Call to Action. But make sure you pay attention to the IRS Radio Hour and Trust Radio Network tomorrow.
That's true. So see you later. Here we go.
I thought that'd be more quick.
I haven't had time. We were speaking over the